Vikram for the invitation. Thank you very much, the Fencing Association of India, and I hope I can make some good presentation here to help coaches from all over the world. Yesterday I was here and I listened to Vikram, and I saw that I had to change some things in my presentation. I had some other idea, and then after Vikram talked with me, I changed it a little bit. So I think it will be more practical and more applied to what you really need to know about strength training. I prepared a model for fencing, a training system model for fencing, covering about three months here. This model, this training system, is based on the work of Yuri Verkhoshansky from Russia. He developed the concept of the training, the block training system. It's a special kind of periodization, especially for high level athletes. But we can adapt the system for low level athletes too. I was with him twice in my life. The first time was in 1997 here in Brazil, and the last time was 2000, in the year 2000, and he was he developed the method, the most special method of strength training, and based on his concept, the model that I prepared for you is based on three main technologies. The first technology you can see here is the long-lasting delayed training effect. In the block A, that is the preparatory period, we will make the concentrated training load for strength training. This is the major part of the system that we do the strength training part in block A. And then in block B, we reduce the volume of training a little bit, and this block, the B, is for technical training and speed training, especially for technical and speed training. The first block A, for strength training, and block B for technical and speed training. During the block A, you can see here the F line. The F line is the functional parameter, the main functional parameter of the training adaptation. That is the speed strength or explosive strength, is one of the main strength capacities that we have to develop in the fencer, in the athlete. So during the block A, this parameter goes a little bit down. You don't increase the speed strength during this block. You decrease because of the training load. You decrease by 10-15%, until 10-15% during this block. And then with the reducing in volume and with the additioning of the technical and the speed loads, the speed training, this parameter goes up and surpass the initial level. So the strength, the speed strength, the explosive strength first go down, and then super compensates and goes higher from the initial point. This is the one aspect of the block system. So we have the concentrated loads in block A, and then we have the longer last delayed training effect. The effect of the training, especially because of the block A, goes, you have this effect in the last part of the block B. And also, the kind of organization is a little bit different. For low-level athletes, we train, for example, A, B, C, different motor capacities like strength, endurance, and speed. You train all the same time for low-level athletes. They have to develop all capacities, and you have to train for all the microcycle, all the training capacities, all the motor capacities for all the microcycle. For high level athletes, you have it. You must separate the training loads. You have to concentrate first in one motor capacity, and then go to another, and then go to another. For high level athletes, they have a low trainability. So you have concentrate the training load to get the results, get the adaptation you have. So first in block A, you solve one problem. Then in block B, you solve another problem. In block C, you solve another problem. So you separate the training loads. Let's go back to the model. This is the model for fencing. So in block A, the concentrated block of strength loads, we have to divide this block in A1, A2, and A3. A1 is the stage, is the introductory stage. The minimum time, the minimum amount of time of this stage can be 3 weeks. The ideal time of this stage is 4 to 6 weeks, but with 3 weeks we can have good results. The athlete will train 3 times a week, so there will be 9 workouts in 3 weeks. For low body, for the legs, we will develop explosive strength. Explosive strength is the capacity to develop strength, the maximum strength in the minimum time, with a great external resistance. So the fencer will have to do the movements and have to move his body weight on the attacking, on lunging, on fletcher, on change of the direction. So it's a great external resistance. So the strength capacity we will have to develop for low body is explosive strength. For upper body, we don't have much external resistance. So the movements of the upper body for the arms, the thrust, it's high speed, strength. It's another kind of strength capacity. So for the explosive strength of the lower body, we will, in block A1, we will have resistance exercise and jumps exercise. The resistance exercise will be, for example, the most important exercise is the one that works the hip and knee extension, especially the hip and the knee extension. Also the ankle extension. So I choose it here, two exercises, barbell squat and calf raise with barbell. The weight here in this first stage is about 10 to 5 repetition maximum. So you begin with the work with 10 repetitions maximum, and then goes to 5 repetitions maximum in the last part of the 3-week period here. Another good exercise in this period is the barbell squat jump. When you jump with the barbell on your back, and the weight here that you use is lower, is much lower. It is a weight of 20 repetitions maximum. It's a low weight. It's a more or less a low weight. We are talking about 20 kilos, something like that. Not much than this. So this is one part of the workout, the resistance exercise. The other part of the workout is the jumps and bounces. Jumps. I have some drawings here. I have some photographs here. The first barbell squat jump here in the resistance exercise is this exercise here. You can do the squat jump, is the first one here. You can do the scissor, I split. It's a split squat jump. When you do this movement here is the second one. And a third option is the jump with kettlebells. You grab the kettlebell and jump between two benches. This is a more the range of motion of this last exercise, the third exercise, is greater. But the main exercise, it will be the first two variants here, the squat jump and the scissor jump. So this is the jump in the first part here, the resistance exercise. The jumps above, below here, the jumps and bounces, these are different jumps in the same place. You can do the vertical jumps in the same place. And the bounces, the bounds is multiplies long jumps, leg to leg, two legs to two legs. It's a more horizontal and long jump. This is the bounce. This is the bound. This is the jump, and this is the bound. So in the first stage, we have the resistance exercise, and we have the jumps and the bounces with submaximal effort. So here we want to develop the technique of the jumps, and we want to develop the speed of transition of the jumps. So the athlete jumps, and the amortization, the transition phase must be fast, with not much force, with not much effort, but it has to be technically perfect and with speed. Other muscles that is important, but doesn't belong to the key movement of fencing, like the stabilizers muscles, the muscles of the back. We can work these muscles in general physical preparation period. Another session that we can work all those other muscles, and we can use the circuit method. So we can use various kinds of exercises, develop various kinds of muscles, the forearm muscles, the core muscles, and the back muscles. So we can work all the others muscles that are important. These muscles help the work of the main muscles of the key movements of fencing, and also work as to prevent injuries. So it's important in the first two stages to work these muscles. In the second stage, we go to a maximum strength stage. This maximum strength stage will be for at least for 2 weeks, 6 workouts, three times a week here. We will continue to use the resistance exercises, but with more intensity. So we use the same exercise, the barbell squat and the calf raise, but the intensity will go to 5 to 1 repetitions maximum. So it's a very intense period. In this stage, we will not work with the jumps and bounces, and we can continue to have the general physical preparation, for example, the circuit method, also in this stage. Why we change the exercise? Why there is no jumps and bounces here? To keep the potential of the means of the exercises, it's better to change the predominant exercise, kind of exercise, for 4 to 6 weeks. Changing the exercise, you keep the training potential at a high level. So in this stage, it's only the barbell exercises with developing maximum strength, 2 weeks. After this stage, we go to stage A3, is the speed strength stage. 2 weeks, 6 workouts, 3 times a week. In this stage, we don't do the resistance exercises, and we do the jumps and bounces, but now with maximum effort. So it's a little bit more intense than the first stage. What's the difference here? We can add weight in the jumps. We can add, for example, hurdle jumps. We can have a higher hurdle, so the fencer can jump higher with more effort, with more power in this kind of exercise. So what we want here in this stage is power, is speed, strength. Not only the strength, but also the speed component of these jumps. And we begin the specific training drills with submaximal efforts. Here, these drills, the specific drills that belongs to the technical preparation, also help us to develop the high speed strength of the movement of the arm, the thrust, the attack of the arm, but not with so much speed. it's a submaximal effort here in this stage. And now, in the end of this, the block A, we don't do more the general physical preparation. We reduce a little bit the volume, so the body can supercompensate the last weeks of work. After the block A, we go to a pre-competitive stage, is the block B. The block B, we will work specific speed. So it's 2 weeks of this stage and only 3 workouts. The volume must decrease, so we can have the supercompensation, like I explained here. The block B has to be lower in volume, so we can have the supercompensation here. So in block B, we work the speed component of the training. So we don't do resistance exercises anymore, and we don't do the jumps anymore, and work the fencing drills, specific fencing drills with maximum effort here. So the physical preparation goes together with the technical preparation. One of the ways to work these drills is to use elastic rubber cords attached to the fencer. So when the fencer goes to have makes an attack, he also has to push this elastic cord. Other way to work this, the fencing drill with more effort, is to use weights to vest a corset with weights, not much, 10% more the body weight of the athlete, so he can must do the movements of the fencing with more power, with more effort. This is the pre-competitive stage, and the last stage is the competitive stage, is the week that he has the competition. So we don't train almost anything in physical preparation. Probably he has one or other technical training in a low volume, in a very low volume, and then the fencer is ready to compete. Let me the jumps and bounces I showed here. It's in the first stage we use this with 20 repetitions maximum, and also in the maximum strength stage you can use this kind of jumps too. You can or you can't, it's an option to use this kind of jumps. This is the jumps used here in the stage A1, and then we use this also in the A3. The difference is the effort. Here in the stage A3, if we use this kind of jumps, the athlete has to jump higher, has to put more power, has to put more intensity, more effort, and he have to jump higher. The bounds, he has to move to jump longer in this kind of jumps in the stage A3. Is the difference, the effort, what do you accomplish with the jump. And another good variation in the A3, in the stage A3, is the chalk method. Chalk method, it's a particular kind of plyometrics developed by Verkhoshansky. When you fall from a box 50 to 60 centimeters to 75 centimeters, and you let your body fall, you have an impact, and you jump with maximum effort, with or horizontal effort or vertical effort here. For fencing, it's more important the horizontal effort because of the movement in the attacks. The strength has a more horizontal component than vertical. You can use the vertical, but the horizontal, it's more important. It will have in the training content of the athlete will have a higher proportion of horizontal jumps than vertical jumps. But the chalk method is only for high level athletes, very strong athletes, and athletes that have no injuries in the past. So it's a very special kind of jump. The good part of this jump is also if the coach uses his creativity, he can create this kind of jumps and include after the rebound, after the body falls, after the first rebound, the coach can add some technical movements, technical jumps. So after the shock method, after the depth jump, after the first one here, you can add some lunging, some fletcher, so specific movements, key movements on the, especially on the attack of the fencing here. You can add also lateral movements after the first rebound here. So you can create a very specific contest here. This kind of jump is can be used only after you work the maximum strength. So that's why we use it here in the A3 stage. To choose the exercises with a more probability of transformation for the sport, for fencing, we must observe the principle of dynamic correspondence. This principle has the effect to increase the transference, the positive transference for the fencing. So when you choose an exercise or when you create the exercise, you must observe 5 points of this principle. The first point is the muscle groups involved in the exercise. So you pick up the key movement you want to develop in fencing and observe the muscle groups involved in this movement, in this exercise. So when you choose the strength exercise must develop the same muscle groups. This is the first factor. The second factor is the amplitude, the range of motion, and the direction of the movement. So in the attack positions, in the attack movements of the fencer goes back and forth, back and forth. You have all these two directions, back and forth all the time. So you have to work some exercise like this, like this direction, and then also the amplitude, like the lunge, the amplitude is very high, so you must do the exercises, some exercise with this amplitude. or close, or at least close to this amplitude. The third factor is the accentuated part of the movement amplitude. Uh, there is a part of the movement that the athlete has to must produce the higher level of the force. In fencing is the change of direction. Every time the fencer change the direction, the point that he makes the transition from the eccentric part for the deceleration of the movement to the acceleration of the movement, eccentric to concentric. This is the point where he produces the highest amount of strength. So we have to develop this part. Jumps, the jumps exercise is the best is the best kind of exercise to work this accentuated part of the movement. The fourth factor is the magnitude and duration of the force effort. We must put in the training exercise the same magnitude of force, at least the body weight of the athlete for lower body, and the duration of this force effort. The duration is very fast. You know, fence is very fast, and we have to imitate this speed in the strength exercise. And the fifth one is the regime of muscular contraction. The lower body of the fencer, the regime of muscular contraction is the explosive, ballistic. So it's very fast, but also involves a great resistance, external resistance. That is the body of the fencer. But for the movement of the arm, for the attack, for the thrust, the extension of the arm, it is another kind of contraction. It's only ballistic. It's not explosive. It's only ballistic movement. So we don't need to develop maximum strength for the arms. Only high speed strength. It's another kind of strength capacity, and for this we don't have to do much volume or many exercises for the upper body. The specific drills can develop the speed of the contraction we need for upper body. But we have also, I have also some suggestions for upper body for the work of the. Yes.
Rambo, I'm very sorry. I think you have, it is almost 40 minutes. You also need a little break, and I have got a lot of questions till this segment. If you allow me, I'll ask you 3, 4 questions, then you can carry on. Should I do that?
Sure. Okay.
And first of all, Rambo, it's great going. There's so many new things, and it's very learning. And I must tell that you have taken a lot of interest and hard work by putting all this in black and white. I know that English is not your first language, and you must have written a
Yes.
script, and I accord you and my salutations to you for this effort, because it
Thank you.
is more, you are doing this session because of my request as a friend to you, and I'm highly grateful to you on the behalf of
Thank
250
you.
people who are
Thank you.
watching you. No, Rambo, first question is that uh, most of the exercises which you have shown till date, vertical jumps, horizontal jump, they all are without weights. They are kind of free hand exercises with the help of
Yes.
body weight. Will
Yes.
you will be covering certain exercises with the weight also, or no? Or if it, please answer that.
I didn't understand the last part. What kind of
You said
exercise?
no, no,
Upper body?
no, no. You said most of the exercises you have shown they are free hand exercises without
Okay,
weights.
sure.
So do we
Okay.
have to do certain exercises with weight also or no?
Uh, yes and no. If you have a very strong athlete with a very high level of maximum strength, for example, in the last macro cycle and the last competition, you have already worked with him and developed a very good level of maximum strength. Maybe you don't need this.
Okay,
You can go straight to the A3 stage,
okay,
but with a low level athlete, with athlete that doesn't have the maximum strength at the optimal level, uh, you must work the maximum strength. So it depends on the individuality of the athlete.
okay. Now, Rambo, why technical? There's another question that height of technical block is lower than the height of strength block. This is a question somebody has sent me.
For the super compensation, if
Yes,
you
yes. Why? Why
if
is
you
it so?
we if you we maintain the same volume, we don't have the enough the recuperation we need to reestablish and increase the level of the speed strength and explosive strength.
Okay,
So the concentrated load uh, decreases the functional state of the athlete. So after this, we have to make him recovery from this high level of stress. That's why we change the contents of the training. Training uh, doesn't train the strength part anymore, only the technical and the
okay,
speed part. And also the strength can be maintained for more than 30 days
okay,
with the specific training. So you don't have to waste you don't have to fatigue the athlete
That-
to maintain this level of strength that you
okay.
already trained in block A.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mohit Gautam, it is a wonderful question, and I must thank you for asking this question. Now, Rambo, you can continue. We will ask questions later. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, so in the last part here, uh, I was showing drills that I think you all know this kind of drills because it's a technical drill. In this technical drill, you develop the high speed strength for upper body. That's why you don't need additional exercises in the physical preparation. In the technical preparation, you can, with more specific in technical drills, you can develop this high speed strength for upper body. But if you need additional means, additional exercise for this, these are some exercises that you can work the high speed strength of the arms. I like this in the right, in the upper right of the slide here, kind of push-ups, uh, two push-ups position where the athlete goes faster than he can for 6, 7, 8 repetitions. The high speed strength doesn't need a high level of maximum strength on the upper body, on the arms. You can work the speed, the high speed contraction of the muscles is exercise like this. And here, below in the slide, we have some other exercise. So you begin in the first stage. You begin with the throws, the medicine balls throws. The medicine balls doesn't need to be very heavy. It's a low weight medicine balls, 1 kilo, 2 kilos. So you begin with horizontal force impact plyometrics, throws, free throws to your training partner. Then you can advance it to the vertical force impact plyometrics. So you throw this 1 kilo ball, and when the ball goes down in the eccentric part, you do the transition faster as you can. And then the shock method for upper body, you need the help of the coach, of the training partner. This ball is released in a higher position, in a higher position, and then you do the transition very quickly. You receive the ball below in a very deep position, and you have to throw back to the coach, to the hands of the coach, faster as you can. You need only few repetitions, 5, 6 repetitions. So you can work here in the A2 stage, A1 to A2 stage, then A3, and then the stage B here. That's the sequence, the sequence for this kind of exercise. But in my experience, some fencers didn't need to work the upper body. The technical preparation solved the problem to develop this high speed strength. So it depends of the necessity of the athlete, if you put or not this kind of exercise. And I want to show some resources you can read and study. These two books are from Yuri Verkhoshansky. You can purchase this in his website. It's verkhoshansky.com, and there are the two books there. The first book here, the strength training, the special strength training manual for coaches. It's a general book for all the sports. And the second book, it's about plyometrics. It's about only the shock method, plyometrics and jump training, this kind of training. These are the most valuable books and knowledge about this topic here. I want to let my Instagram. We can maintain contact by the Instagram. My Instagram is Ricardo Rambo, Ricardo with 2 C's here. And my email, my personal email is Ricardo Barros, hotmail.com. And now I'm free for some questions. Vikram, Where are you, Vikram?
Vikramji, are you there?
I think he's not here.
Wait a minute, I'll call him just a minute.
I can wait. And I can answer all your questions. Just send me an email or by direct contact by the Instagram, and I'll be glad to help you answering your questions.
Ricardo, I think he lost his internet connection, so I'll continue.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, thank you for wonderful lecture, and
thank you very much.
Till I search some questions from chat box, I'll invite one of my colleague who is the panelist with us. His name is Mr. Sagar Lagu. He will, if he wants to ask anything, I'll ask him to ask. If he has any doubt or any question, he can ask you.
Sure.
Sagar is not there. Sorry, he's there. Sagar, can you hear me?
Hello.
If you have any question, please. Sagar.
Hello.
Sagar. If you have any question, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Anji, Sagar, please ask your question.
I am listening to you.
Hello. Good evening. Good morning, sir. It was a wonderful session. Thank you very much for your knowledge.
Thank you.
As far as our fencing is concerned, we are more concentrating on the lower limbs. Because we are using a quadricep enhancing mode. So what kind of exercise protocol should we follow for that?
Sorry, can you repeat, please? I'm not listening very well.
In the fencing, we use the lower limbs more. Means the legs we use quadricep enhancing, we use more. So we require basically explosive strength more. So what kind of exercise protocol we should follow?
For hands, for forearm?
No, for legs.
Also for legs?
Yeah, legs.
Which kind of exercise do you mean?
Yeah, because we use the more explosiveness.
See, yes. The jumps, all the jumps I showed here.
Plyometric
Yes. Plyometrics, the jump to exercise is the best training means for this strength capacity.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have jumps without weights and with weights. If you have to, if you want to work the speed of transition, you work with jumps without weights. If you want, but if you want to work the power, the strength, the speed strength capacity, the explosive strength capacity. So we have this kind of jumps and this kind of jumps and this kind of bounces. This is important because of the horizontal vector of the fencing.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Saga, for your question. The next question is from Roshan Thapa. He is one of the coach from Gujarat. He asked that he want to know how to develop launch speed and quickness for fencer, and how to measure these parameters. Like he want to know how we can develop the quickness in fencer and how to measure this, means how we can assess that this is the correct thing. Or
the speed of the lunge has a good correlation, a good relation with the explosive strength. So if you do a long jump, a broad a broad jump, you can track what will happen with the speed of the lunging. So here in this example, if you test in the beginning of the block A, the broad jump, the increase in the block B of this broad jump will be related with a speed of the movement in the lunging, because the correlation, it's very good. There is a doctoral thesis from Anthony Turner from the United States, and he in this thesis he concludes that the speed of execution of the attacks in the fencing, the lunging, and the flash has this good relation, good correlation with the broad jump. So if you track the explosive strength, you will see that the speed will develop parallel to this strength capacity. That's why it's so important. That's why it's something that you must work, you must develop in the athlete, the speed strength component, capacity.
Thank you, Ricardo. There's one more question from one of the coach from Andhra Pradesh. He wants to know that since in fencing we use one extremity, like one hand is leading, only other hand is like in resting, and the same way when our movement is in one direction, movement flow is in one direction. He wants to know during strength training, should we concentrate more on the other part which is not being used during the training, or we should do training equally?
In the first, let me find here the model. In the first two stages, you can work these other muscles that we don't use much in the fencing. In the general preparation physical part of the workout of the training. In the second, in the first part of the block A, you can work these other muscles, but in a more specific block, in the end of the A and in the B and the C block, it's better to not work these muscles, so you can reduce the training volume and permit the athlete good recuperation and the supercompensation of the strength, the concentrated training load of the block A.
Thank you, Ricardo. And there is one question from strength and conditioning coach. He's from Gujarat. He wants to know how we can minimize the amortization phase during movement.
You have to the athlete must learn how to jump in the first stage. The athlete has to develop the sense to know when the myotatic reflex is activated in the muscles of the lower body and of the legs, and when he feels the activation of this reflex, the myotatic, the stretching reflex, he makes the effort to jump. So how you develop this? You develop this with many repetitions of the jumps, with the extensive method of jumps in the block A1. That's why you don't need maximal effort. That's why you do the jumps with submaximal effort, because the athlete must learn how to make the effort to jump. And you also you will control the speed of the execution. for example, if the athlete must do 10 jumps, 10 hurdle jumps above obstacles, benches or something like this, you can control the time of the execution. So the athlete does the first set and you take the time. In the second time, the athlete must do it quicker. It has to be faster than the second, the first set. So you can control the speed of execution of the exercise and give constant feedback to the athlete. Doing this, he will do the amortization, the contact phase faster.
Thank you, Ricardo. I think Vikram is here. Colonel Saab, can you hear me?
Ricardo. Yeah. Ricardo, I'm very sorry. There is a lot of internet problem. I just logged in again. Complete world
No
is running
problem.
on internet nowadays. Acha. And I must have missed a little bit, but don't worry. I have a lot of recordings of it. I will ask you in person also. That right has gotten. First of all, I want to thank you. Now we will go to the Krishanji. How many questions you asked?
A lot of ones.
Krishanji,
3 questions.
Many questions.
did you give a chance to Bhavani Devi?
No, not Bhavani.
Bhavani? No, okay. Ricardo, we have got Bhavani Devi. In fact, she is the best fencer of country till date from the time fencing has started. She is ranked in first 40 in the world, and currently she is qualified for Olympics. But because of the lockdown, she was training in Italy. Now she has come joining us today. She is doing the training in India. She has got some specific question. I will get Bhavani online and she will ask herself. Krishan, if you find Bhavani, please unmute her.
Is there Bhavani? You can ask your question.
I could see her. Hi, Bhavani.
Hello, sir. Hello. Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Hi,
everyone.
Bhavani.
Good morning.
Hello.
How's the training going on? Huh?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
Please
more
ask
of.
your question. Ricardo is listening to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
First
I'm
of all,
listening.
thank you for your very
Great.
detailed session. I think this it's going to be very helpful to plan our future competitions. My question is, so since for fencers, our one side of our body, like our right arms, see, I'm a right-hand fencer, so my right arms and right legs are much stronger than the left one. So the difference is very high. So
Yes.
I should leave it like that, or I should focus more on my left to work extra on my left side to make it equal, or try to reduce the gap.
I understand. It's a common situation in fencers,
Yeah.
and sometimes it can develop to an injury.
Yeah.
So in this model, you have the first period, the first 2 stages to try to decrease this asymmetry, this strength asymmetry.
Okay.
So you have to use more unilateral exercises.
Yes.
In your case, in the introductory stage here, I will not use the barbell squat much. I would use unilateral forms of squats.
Okay.
So we can work the 2 sides at the same intensity and trying to reduce this asymmetry. Also, in the general physical preparation, we can work your weaker leg more than the other.
Yes.
With a special exercise, with more local exercise, like a leg press, like a knee extension, knee flexion, lunges, lateral lunges, pistols. That is a unilateral form of squats. So you have the block A, the first part of the block A, to reduce this asymmetry. After this, after the last part of the block A, is not recommended to work a lot the weaker part. We're gonna have to work your potential, what you have best, and the best side. So because we are now in the competitive period, so you have the preparatory period, the block A, to work this. And good luck for your competitions, and I hope to see you in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vikramji, are you there? I think again he lost his internet.
He's out again.
There is a 2-3 question which is similar, and it is asked by many of the coaches. They want to know about the strength training program for the young kids, like it is for the 8 years, 10 years, 11, 12 years. How they should plan? They should go with the weight training or like a plyometrics or jumps.
For youngsters, you don't need an specific training system like this one. You can work the strength part all year long. So the best kind of exercises is the jump training for multi-directionals, for back and forth, for lateral jumps, any kind, and a vast quantity and different kinds of jumps. But you don't need do these jumps with maximum effort. Just do the jumps with perfect technique, with a good landing position, and a moderate volume. A moderate volume is something about 40, 50 jumps a training session. And you can use body weight exercises for the other muscles, push-ups and planks and pull downs, exercise like that in the circuit method. So you work 6 to 10 exercises, and you can and you give enough rest intervals with this method. It's not good to work with very high heavy weights, so you don't need to work with maximum efforts with barbell or in the machines. So jumps, general jumps, and circuit method to work all the exercise with body weight exercise. I think this is are the best ways to develop the strength in youngsters.
Thank you, Ricardo. It was a wonderful answer. And there is a question. It is regarding the periodization part, what you have shown it here. I think it is much is like a block periodization. There is a question regarding is it good to adopt a block periodization or the traditional ones, like the ones you find all
I think for me it's best. I see more advantages in the block systems than in the traditional kind of periodization, especially if the fencer has some years of training. The block training systems will be better. For the beginner fencer, maybe the traditional periodization will be better, because you don't need any kind of concentrated loads. So if you have an athlete, a fencer that is training for some years, and he's being prepared to important competitions like Bhavani, she will get more results with this kind of periodization, the block system, because especially because of the concentration of the strength load. This is a very specific part of the training systems that will stimulate further adaptations for high level athletes.
Thank you, Ricardo. There is one more question. It is regarding the not regarding the strength, but they want to know in a periodization, like it's a whole year periodization in one set of macro cycle. Where should endurance stand? Like it should be at the initial phase or after the strength. If it is a block periodization, where should endurance stand? It should be at the initial phase or after the strength.
The kind of endurance in fencing, it's more lactic, anaerobic lactic systems, and a little bit the glycolytic systems, the lactic systems. The anaerobic power, the maximum anaerobic power can be worked in the last stages, in the last 2 stages. So we can you can work specifically the specific endurance in the stage A3 and the stage B, because this kind of adaptation increases very fast. With 2 or 3 weeks, you can develop this specific endurance with specific exercise. But there is a good advice here with jumps. Depends on the amount of sets and repetitions. You can work at the same time the strength component and the endurance component. So with specific jumps, you can develop the maximum anaerobic power. You don't need an additional training means. You don't need an additional training method. With jumps, you can also develop this. And the jumps are here in the block, in the stage A3, and you can do some of these jumps with lower volume in the pre-competitive stage, in the block B with low volume, to keep this stimulus to endurance. So you can, with jumps, you can develop the anaerobic capacity and the anaerobic power.
Thank you, Ricardo. Now, this is the last question from the chat box. Then we'll move towards the instructor. And someone asked, he wants to know. Actually, it is mentioned in your slide, but I think he didn't see it. He wants to know how many plyometric sessions should be in a like a one microcycle. What proportion of a plyometric training is given to fencers means?
3 times a week. 3 times a week in the stage A1, 3 times a week in the stage A3.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo. And now
you can. It depends also of the readiness of the athlete. If the athlete is not with a good readiness, with a good recuperation, you can train less. You can have less training sessions in a week. At 2 training sessions, the best amount is 3 training sessions a week. but depends on the recuperation of the athlete. You can decrease this to 2 sessions in a week.
Thank you. Now we'll move toward the instructors. So we have asked already with the Sagar. Now we have Mr. Ashok Khatri. He's from NIS Patiala. So I'll unmute him, and if he has any doubt or any query, he will ask to you.
Okay.
Ashok, sir, are you there, sir?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm here. Good morning and thanks
Good
a
morning.
lot. Ricardo, it was a great informative session for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the coaches in there, and as well as for the fencers. I wanted to know just if we wish to muscle hypertrophy, so how many times in a week we have to go for the stress on particular muscles?
Fencing needs more speed, strength, capacities,
Yes,
and the development of muscles. The training for muscle hypertrophy doesn't contribute much with the speed of the contraction.
okay.
But more muscle mass can help avoiding injuries, some injuries.
Mhm.
So it depends. If an athlete is too small, maybe in the block A, in the beginning of the block A, especially in the stage A1, you can do some bodybuilding. You can use some bodybuilding methods here to develop muscle mass, to have this kind of hypertrophy here, but is not much related to specific capacities of the fencing.
Yes.
So it's not so important.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok sir. And now we have another panelist with us. His name is Mr. Mohit Ashwani. Mohit sir, I'm unmuting you. If you have any doubt, please ask.
Thank you, Ricardo ji. First of all, I am very thankful to you for such a wonderful and informative lecture, and really it has enlightened us all. And now my question is about TheraBands, elastic bands.
Yes.
I know at the stage A1, it is initial, so we shouldn't be using. Can we use in the preparatory phase A2 TheraBands? And what do you suggest?
Yes, it can be used for some specific exercise.
Yes, yes.
Like you can use it. It depends on the creativity of the coach.
Yes.
The best 2 stages to use the elastic bands is A1 and A2, like you said, and also in the general preparation phase for the other muscles, forearm, shoulders, scapular stabilizers, other muscles here. In the specific speed stages, A3 and B, no, because the movements in fencing are ballistics, are very explosive, and the elastic doesn't permit the muscles to contract at higher speeds. So it's not very good in the stage A3 and B.
Okay, but initial stage, you say preparatory phase, it is good.
Yes.
We can start with it.
Yes.
Thank you very
A1
much. Thank you.
A2.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moshe. Ricardo, there is one more panelist with us, Mr. Lohit. I'll unmute him. Lohit ji, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please ask your question.
Sir, I do not have any question, but Mr. Ricardo, most of the things were very clear in your presentation. Thank you for your time, because I understand the time being in Brazil and you taking the class at this time. I really appreciate that. I only hope that this
Look at the time here.
yeah, I understand. Well, I
Almost 3 in the morning
yes,
here.
my only hope is that I hope this kind of sessions will change the mindset of many old school coaching methods, because that is something that we are traditionally following here in India. I think these specific exercises are beautifully designed. So I would only like to say I really appreciate your efforts. Thank you very much. We would like to see you again and again. Thank you very much on behalf of everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lohit. Ricardo, there is a question asked by Mr. Monir Hussain from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Yes, he wants to know that what should we do to avoid repeated strength injuries for fencing arm?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Sure. He wants to know what should we do to avoid repeated strength injury for fencing arm?
In the shoulder? Injury in the shoulder?
Yes, maybe shoulder or elbow. It must be there.
I don't think I am the best person to answer this. It's specialty for a physiotherapist. I don't have much experience on this, but I think no, I I don't want to answer this, because I think it needs a more specialized professional to.
Biomechanist is the right person to answer it.
Yes. It will only be a guess, and I don't want to guess. I want to answer.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And now we have one more panelist. His name is Mr. Rashid. I'll try to find him, because he is also from the same place from where Vikram is. So they are having internet problem. If he is able to ask, please. Rashid ji, are you there? Rashid ji?
Hello.
Please ask.
Hello.
Hello. Are you? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, Rashid ji, you can ask your question.
Hello.
Anji, Rashid ji, you are audible. You can ask your question.
Hello.
I think he has some internet problem again.
Yeah.
So there is one more question from someone. There is no name, but he wants to know about the ratio between maximum strength and speed strength. Means you told that A2 should be for the 2 weeks and A3 for the speed strength also for 2 weeks. But the ratio, how much they should go for, like percentage wise?
Sorry, the last part I didn't
He wants to know
regarding the last part.
ratio of the maximum strength and speed strength.
Well, the difference.
No, ratio means how much in percentage they should do it.
Okay. Okay. Maximum strength above 80% of the 1 repetition maximum. It's a little bit here. You begin the work of the maximum strength in the stage A1 with the weight in the bar 10 repetitions maximum. This is more or less about 60, 65, 70% of maximum, and goes until the end of the stage A2, goes until the 100%, 1 repetitions maximum. The speed strength exercise will be done if he jumps they will be done with 20 repetitions maximum. This is, I don't know, 40%, something like that, or even less, 30% of the maximum strength. And you can also work with other exercises, the speed strength, besides jumps. You can use a barbell squat, and the difference, you work with weights from 30 to 70% with a high speed of contraction.
Ricardo, I am back. Sorry, I am from some other. There's a lot of internet problem, but with God's grace, I've come to thank you again.
No
In
problem.
case I go back, sign out again, I just want to thank you again. There is one question I wanted to ask you, Krishnji. I'm audible, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can ask.
Krishnji, Ricardo, there are 2-3 questions. I was compiling it yesterday. One question is that lot of fencing is being done on the piste. You know that piste, the turf on which fencing we play. I'm audible?
Yes.
Now, in Indian context, we have fencing in all over places where we don't have pistes, we don't have, sometimes fencers don't use proper fencing shoes. Sometimes they do training on a wooden floor, sometimes they do it on a metallic floor, and sometimes on a concrete also, normal floor.
Yes.
Does it have some implication on exercise they do, and what is the probability of injury? Can you say that little bit from experience? I don't want expert comment, just our opinion.
Okay. You have to strengthen the muscles of the feet. So you have to go a little bit slower in the progression of the exercises. You have to begin with a low volume jumps, but you can do without shoes, and make small progressions in the volume, you know.
Understood. Got it. Got it. You have to
during years, and the shock method shouldn't be used without shoes. You need or good shoes or a rubber
cushion,
rubber surface to jump.
Okay. Now, Ricardo, another question related to that only. Now, as you said that there is a periodization of strength and conditioning also. You mentioned that with competition phase, pre-competition phase, in season, during season, and all those things you mentioned. Now, tell me, what is the importance if some fencer who is an elite fencer, for example, God forbid, Bhavani Devi goes to the injury? I'm audible?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if a fencer goes through injury, what is the taper, taper required, where he can be rested and then again the volume of training can be go? What can you explain a little bit about periodization and taper in it? The dip sometimes you give for next 1 minute or so.
It depends of the injury. It depends the time of the recovery of the injury. You know, it's very different, the recovery time. So without injury, you need 15 to 21 days for the transition period to start another microcycle. But with injury, I don't know the time.
Okay, understood. No, Ricardo, one more question. Which motor quality we do train more than 1 day in a weekly session? Which motor quality you think we train once in a week? Can you answer that? No.
Sorry, can you repeat?
You know, there is, leave this. It is advisable to do endurance workout and speed workout
endurance.
back to back.
Endurance. Not in the block A, not in the block A, because this will compromise the gain of the maximum strength. as I answered before, you can work specific endurance, specific resistance in stage A3 and B. But I will answer again this with jumps, with these jumps exercises. You can develop the power and the capacity of the anaerobic system. So maybe you don't need additional exercises or methods for endurance. The technical preparation and the jumps exercise can develop this kind of specific resistance, specific endurance.
Ricardo, one more question. I know it is morning for you. After that, you can put on your shoes and go for a morning walk. But one more question. We would not let this opportunity go. When you train beginners, somebody who comes to the sport, what do you think in a weekly basis, how many times they should be made to do strength and conditioning? Beginners. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes. Who is the
beginners,
person?
new, who join the beginners, the new students who join the.
Sure.
Yeah.
Three times a week. 3 times a week.
And what is the duration? 25 minutes, 30 minutes? That depends upon intensity also, I know, but what is the normal duration?
You can begin to 30 to 40 minutes and increase this to 60 minutes. But the work with the beginners, it's a more broad. You work all the kinds of strength capacities with coordination, with flexibility exercise in one in one big training session. You don't need to work only the strength capacity, but you work all the others motor capacities in this training session.
Okay, thank you. No, Recorder, it's already too late. I will not take much time. Just 1 minute. Krishan ji, have you given chance to Dr. Gupta, Rajesh Gupta ji, to ask question?
No, sorry,
Yes?
I forgot him.
You
Okay.
Recorder, just we have got a doctor who's on the medical commission of Fencing Association of India. You please unmute him and he can ask his question or his opinion. Then we will give a. I think all of us must give a good send off to Ricardo for taking time. Dr. Ji, you are unmuted.
Yeah. Hello.
Please, Dr. Ji, be very deliberate on your question. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Rambo. I don't have any questions because hosts have asked so many questions to you, and it was wonderful presentations by you. By the graphic presentations and pictorial presentations, I think one of the slides that is very important for everyone: general model of training systems for fencing. That is the important slides. Apart from that, other slides was also important. So we think we should concentrate on this slide, and we should implement all these things to the practice so that we can make athletes more efficient and they can perform in more better way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Diana, you want to ask some question? Okay. Please, doctor, please.
No, I don't have any questions because hosts have already asked so many questions.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ricardo, I know it is already 3 in the morning and I wanted to Ricardo for taking out this time for us. And please, wherever you are, just clap for the Ricardo on your chair. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Ricardo, it was so wonderful to have you. And let me tell you, there are people from SAI and many authorities have been watching you. You have been a wonderful friend. It is a learning. It will take some time to get this thing to our, it will sink in. But I hope that we will try and get you again. Have a small nap, brother, and then refreshen yourself. You have been such a kind to me. Thank you very much. I'll always go back to you. Please, all of you, thank you very much, Ricardo. Thank you. Over to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you. He is saying thank you.